But I want to acknowledge the presence of my colleague minister, the Honorable Jerome Fitzgerald, the Member of Parliament for Marathon, as well as the leader of the official opposition. Dr. Minnis is also present. But first and foremost, I want to thank this particular committee for allowing me to join you this evening. Our first priority, the premise upon which we have been working from day one, is to ensure the health and safety of the people, community, and environment in the area directly affected by the Rubis fuel spill. It is the people of Marathon, the 5 households directly affected by this situation in particular, who must be at the forefront of our decision making. As my government colleagues and I announced today, it is particularly important that the residents of Marathon be given an opportunity to speak with and hear directly about our plans for remediation. From the moment we became aware of the situation at the Robinson Road service station, we acted immediately. We worked with Rubis to ensure that they accepted responsibility for the spill. At no cost to the Bahamian people or government, Rubis complied with the government's direction to remediate the situation. All contaminants in water and soil in properties to which we have been given access have been eliminated. The Rubis spill is contained, and the results of testing for contamination levels in wells, residences, and businesses at all affected areas have been made public. In addition to these steps, government acted promptly to decrease the risk of negative health effects to residents of the area. The first health and safety step we took was to ensure that residents in the area were granted access to city water as soon as possible. We also instructed, as remains the case today, and I repeat it for all of you who live in Regency Park and Highbury Park, that nobody in the area should use groundwater. We will maintain this direction until independent scientific verification confirms that the groundwater is completely safe. As Minister of the Environment, I have the duty to take a close look at events like the Rubis fuel spill, as well as other historical spills in this area, so we can apply lessons learned from the situation to prevent future accidents. This is important not only to the people of Marathon, but indeed to all Bahamians. In that spirit, we will table new public safety and environmental protection legislation by the end of the year. This will enable the creation of the Department of Environmental Planning and Protection, and more importantly, introduce petroleum sector regulations for the handling, maintenance, and cleanup of contaminants. I should also like to outline for you the commitment made by our Chief Medical Officer, Dr. Glenn Beneby, this afternoon. Dr. Beneby will oversee a response of the Ministry of Health, supported by expert advice and technical assistance from PAHO, to address the health needs of the households in the Marathon area affected by the Rubis fuel spill. Earlier today, Dr. Beneby stated, and I quote, that having seen the data and analysis provided by the Ministry of the Environment and independent scientific advisors, I want to begin by stating clearly my perspective on the current health risks. At the present time, the available scientific findings strongly suggest that there is no danger to the community, end quote. In concert with the Chief Medical Officer, we have also agreed that in the interest of public health, notwithstanding his remarks, we will continue testing and monitoring the situation for the next several years. proactively updating your community through biannual reports and more frequently as may be required. Dr. Benaby also announced that with the technical assistance of PAHO, which is the regional arm of the World Health Organization of the Americas, that the Ministry of Health team will, starting today, arrange for visits to the households directly impacted by the Rubis fuel spill to hear questions and concerns about their health and the health of their loved ones, and to outline for them what steps we will take moving forward. On or before June 30th, 2015, the Chief Medical Officer expects to have completed blood tests, health screening exams, and general consultations with each member of these households. A plan for follow-up care for these individuals, should one be needed, will be determined by Dr. Benaby's health team in consultation with affected residents immediately thereafter. I consider our government fortunate to benefit from the public service of a doctor with both an independent and civic-minded streak. With this in mind, Dr. Benaby concluded his remarks today by adding, and I again quote, that now is not the time to share second or third-hand information. Those in Marathon who are directly affected by the Rubis spill deserve nothing short of our compassion, our focus, and our evidence-based responses to their needs and concerns, end quote. It is in that spirit that the Chief Medical Officer invited anyone with questions about how the government will manage their health needs to contact the public health team at 502-4776. Finally, having spent time in the area this weekend with Minister Fitzgerald, I also know that you have, rightfully so, expressed concern over our government's delay in releasing the Black and Veatch report. Mr. Fitzgerald, the Chief Medical Officer, and I were joined today by the Attorney General, who said this on behalf of our government, and I quote, "We released the report to make it clear that there was no intention on the part of the government to conceal anything. Nonetheless, as a government, we understand we should have released the report sooner. For this delay, we want to sincerely express our regret," end quote. Speaking specifically to the residents of Marathon, the Attorney General added the following: "We know how much stress and concern the Rubis spill has caused you and your loved ones, and therefore the households directly affected by the spill and the residents of Marathon in general deserve to know not only what we did to address the Rubis spill, but how we can better prevent similar incidents in the future. We will make sure that going forward you get all the information and support you need," end quote. The Attorney General also announced that in order to mitigate such errors in the future, the government will within 15 days appoint an independent expert who understands how government procedures ought to work to evaluate how this report was handled and to make recommendations to ensure that a similar incident does not happen again. The results of this review will be made public and reported back to you as soon as the expert has completed the assignment. Once again, I want to thank you for allowing me the opportunity to speak here this evening. I would also encourage you, if I may, to hear what your Member of Parliament, Jerome Fitzgerald, wishes to report to you. He has, from day one, been a tireless advocate of your community, and I want to personally thank him for his contribution to helping form an effective and sustained government response. His leadership has indeed been instrumental in ensuring that we look not only at this incident in isolation, but that we learn from historical leaks of a similar nature to build lasting solutions to such challenges. I thank you.